Good day, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another video. My name is Chief Dog 74, and let's get on into this one then. So, here we are back again with another Need for Speed video. If you couldn't tell, I'm doing a post commentary for this video, and that is simply because when I was doing this video, I thought I was recording my voice. However, I found out very quickly after an editing that I was in fact not. So, like most of my luck yesterday, where I had an earbud fall into a puddle, unfortunately it did get fixed itself. But much like my luck yesterday, I have to go ahead and hit the track to record button and give you the post commentary instead. However, enough about my misfortunes. Here is something which is a lot better, and that is the Ford Focus RS. Newest car to add to my collection, which you have to get by smashing all of the billboards. And in fact, my family has this car in real life. At least the Ford Focus, not the RS part. But I really like this car. So hopefully it's going to be good in A+, which is where I want it to be. Here are the body kits that you get given straight off the bat, so they look okay, but again, I'm going to be customizing it the way I want. And that starts, of course, like usual, with the hood. So I decided to choose the second option. It was either between the default or the second option. Didn't really like the other ones. So decided to just stick with the second one. Stuck with the default bumper because again didn't really like the look of the other ones. And then we had a few splitter options to choose from, and I decided to go for that one, which had the sort of the angled parts to it, which I quite liked. There wasn't any other headlights apart from the default ones. So decided to just stick with the default ones. No need to, do anything nutty around them really. Canards I'm not really interested in, but the fenders I do actually like. Unfortunately though, with this one there was only like these half attached ones, and then you had the full-on extension ones which are bolted on. And even though I don't really like bolted on ones, I didn't want to keep it standard. So ended up having to go with the bolted ones there. Wing mirrors look shocking without the default option, so just going to stick with the default option. Decided to add a bit more carbon to the bottom of the car, as you can see. So I went for the second option for the side skirts, and again to match the front of the car we went for the third Speed Hunters option, which has the bolted on effect. Completely blacked out the lights for the rear at least. And then we had a few wing options. This one was in fact the one that we used on the Subaru, which of course I made 2 videos for now, so you can go ahead and check them out. And you can see the other options for the wings. And I decided to go for this one because I didn't want to stick with the default one, but I didn't want to go with any of the others. And even though it looks like a bit of a rallycross wing, I still thought it looked quite nice. This is the bumper, so there's little tiny inlet parts next to the exhaust. That's what the 2 bumpers change. It took me a while to figure that out, but in the end I did figure that out, and I decided to go with the little induct parts, which I thought looked quite nice. As for the diffuser, usually I'd have one which was got like fully attached part, but I decided to go a bit nutty, a bit crazy with this car. I decided to have a really large diffuser without the little like back part which filled it in, which quite different for me, but I still think it looked quite nice. And I decided to go with the single tips which were facing downwards for the exhaust. That's about it. All I did was change the license plate, which magically changed. You can see I slammed the car to the ground with the ride stance and added a little bit of camber. Decided to go with this chrome black, which I thought looked really, really nice. I didn't know how it was going to look with the headlight of the backlights, but went for that car colour anyway, because again, it's quite nice. I went for this driving style effect, and this exhaust sound. So yeah, quite different from some of the others that I usually do, but I thought, you know, well, it's a Ford, it's a Focus, it's an RS. Let's go for the big guns. And as I wanted this car to be A plus, I looked up a guide for the what parts to equip, and they said to just keep to the standard engine, to equip the sport induction part, as I'm about to do. There you go, the sport induction part. You want to go with the Pro ECU, the Pro fuel system, the super exhaust, the single turbo charger in the super category. You want the super nitrous. You want the super suspension, just the regular suspension, not the road, not the off-road, just the regular suspension. And make sure you get that right, otherwise it's 17.5 grand down the drain. You want the basic brakes, which you get, which are the Pro ones. You want the tyres for road in Elite. You want the Elite clutch, because obviously better shifting times. You want the normal 6-speed gearbox, and finally you want the Elite differential. And of course, to help you out, you want the nitrous grip and nitrous drift. Though any of the two, or any of the bottles at the end for whatever you think you'll get the most is completely fine. Handling, you want to put it on 8% grip. I put the downforce on high just so it's easier to drive. Then drift entry, traction control is completely up to you. Yeah, there you go. That's the customization for this car in A plus. Let me quickly tell you what the guy's name that I found on YouTube was, just so he gets a bit of recognition. Okay, so I had a look, and his name is Need for Sleep. So that's where I got the build from for this car. But here we go into our first race of 3 in this speed list. I only managed to get 2 opponents, so sort of would have liked to have more people in the playlist to give it a bit more of a larger test to see really how good it was, but couldn't unfortunately get that. Though the start was really good. Though obviously I don't know if they failed their start boost, whereas I didn't, so that could be why the launch was so good. But I didn't fail my start boost throughout this playlist, so I think either it's my good start boost or just this car in general is quite good at acceleration. And something else that I found with this car is that it's really good in the corners. So if you've got a particularly corner-filled track with the A plus playlist, or perhaps you're in a mixed playlist, you're in A plus, then you may want to take this car. But as you can see, against the Chevy Camaro SS, which I think it's known to be really quite quick in a straight line. You can see it sort of walked away, and even by the end of the race, I was still in 160 yards, so he didn't exactly waltz away, but he didn't really. I wasn't able to catch him, if you know what I mean. So yeah, and had a little bit of a wobble there at the end. So in the end, came second here, but that's a pretty good showing for my first time ever driving this car, and just a test of this car in general. You can see on your screen now the time that I did, so you can perhaps compare if your car is like at that time. Into the second race though, and I already got a really good start, and was able to quickly drive away from the Chevy, but as we started to get towards the higher ends of the gears and the higher speeds, you can see the Chevy just zoom past. Had a bit of a tussle with him, but in the end he was able to get the better of me, and he started to get away a bit. Yeah, that's sort of the story with this car, is that it's not great in the straight line, but it's, as you can see, I mean, part of it was due to my good line there, but as you can see, in general, this car is better at corners, at least compared to this Chevy. Obviously, you know, it may be that if you go against some of the other cars, that it could look really good in a straight line, but compared to that car, it's not as great. And I did overtake him on the dirt part of that shortcut that we both took, but he had a bit of a worse line, so that was why I was able to sort of get away there. And something else that I noticed as well was that your nitrous usage is really good for this car. So if you can use nitrous well, then it can be a really good car. That's perhaps why a super nitrous bottle is almost required. But as you can see, down towards the the finish straight, not the start finish straight, just the finish straight, it was quite close between us, and he almost picked me at the line, but I was just about able to stay in front and win that speed list. But again, that one was more focused on corners. There wasn't as many long straights, and a slight bit of foul play to get in front. But yeah, as you can see, that was a very close race, and you know, you can compare your time as well. Into the final race of this playlist. This one is all about speed, so you're gonna see here that this was sort of the nail in the coffin to show that this RS unfortunately isn't quick in a straight line, at least not in A plus. Perhaps if you can get it in S or S plus, maybe even B, I don't know if you can downgrade it that much. It can perhaps be a bit better of a car, but for A plus, at least compared to this Chevy, it's not so great. Topped out 178 miles per hour. And as you can see, as we come towards the finish line, he stayed in front throughout the entire race. So I must say it was sort of close. Like he didn't run away with it. The speed wasn't that bad, but he didn't exactly I couldn't catch him pretty much. So that's sort of the sign with this car. Equally, the sign with this car is apparently the AI after the race is pretty dumb, since I started running into a wall. But yeah, overall, I'd say this car is pretty good in A plus. To be fair, I think it's probably one of the better ones. As you can see, I came second in the playlist, and yeah, all the thing was about this car is that it just didn't have the straight line speed compared to the Chevy in A plus. And I don't know if that's just an issue with this car, or if it's just an issue with the Chevy being too overpoweredly quick or something. I'm not entirely sure. But I would recommend this car, especially if you've got a playlist with loads of like cornering tracks. I think this one can be a really good option for you. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for today's video. So if you did enjoy, and you know, if you enjoyed the video, you can go ahead and hit the like button. Comment anything you want below. Subscribe if you enjoy all of my content. Perhaps you can give me some better luck. But till then, it's been Chief Dog 74, and I will see you guys in the next video. Maybe it's a Need for Speed one, maybe not.